Yay. I believe I am live. I'll just give some minutes or moments since I am incredibly on time for lives and want to honor if those of you need to flow in this evening. Welcome, welcome. How are you? How are you this evening? Or this day, whenever you are choosing to check in. Be it that you watch this live with me, participating in circle, or be it that you watch this on replay. Trust that Oracle is timeless, out of time, meaning that it is capable and there are messages to be received when you receive them, when you receive and connect to this video. If you are new to connecting with me, my name is Josie. Welcome. And I have been working with spirit for most of my life. I was one of those children that came in with memories, came in with remembrance. And I share deep gratitude for those whom I walk with. Hi, welcome. Welcome, and hope you have tea or something to drink, that you are supported and comforted in whichever way you wish to be this evening. Know that I have, had really delicious food and wearing really comfy clothes, and even enjoyed a great nap as well prior to coming on. And I wish to share gratitude to Children of Venus for enabling me to step into live sessions again with this wondrous headpiece that supports protecting my third eye. So if you also are so guided, you are welcome to connect with stone, with obsidian, or other ones that may call to you to support you in grounding your energy through this transmission. I was sharing a bit of my walk in this body in this lifetime, and how I have immense gratitude to work with a council of spirit, of guides that have supported me in surviving up to this point. Let's just say that, in still existing in this body amidst all the chaos and the cacophony of what we may be experiencing within this lifetime. So as you step in, allow yourself some deep breaths. Allow yourself some comfort. For it's been some time since we have connected in circle in a place most public, like YouTube. And I know that since the last live oracle session, I have grown. I have healed some things. And I have been taught much on what can be shared of what is most sacred. And what we are capable in a collective space to receive at this time. I was also guided to speak on tarot, as some pronounce it, or also tarot, which is how also my ancestors and Magi's have taught me. And so I welcome, if you did come in with certain contemplations or questions that you believe may be accessible for many, you're welcome to also type them in and share them throughout this session. And know, though, that it is only me, and at one time, sometimes I might have my eyes closed. So I will try to keep up with what is in the chat. And the specific tarot that I would like to share of is one that I guess most people feel is like the original, or the one that, let's say, was done a long time ago, the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck. And some may know this deck as Rider-Waite, which includes the author and writer. And as you hear, I am including Smith, the illustrator. For many of you may be mediums, oracles, healers, and teachers of quite mystic realms. And it's important to know who actually illustrated and channeled these wondrous illustrations that we receive on this deck. Thank you for that question. Let's take a moment before we go further, just to allow a collective grounding for when I channel. I'm already starting to feel it. I am sitting in presence, right? I am working on sitting here now with you, as well as, of course, traveling between realms, between aspects and multidimensionalities of consciousness. And so before we get further into, let's say, the surreal, let us take a moment to access what feels most real. And that may be simply knowing that during this practice, whatever may come through may bring up certain sensations in your body. And so the best thing is to comfort and connect to your body at any time it may feel or blip or jump or trip as they experience remembrance and further connection to what potentially your ancestors, your spirit council, and those that you walk with are wishing to share with you. Allow yourself to most definitely have some water, and to honor if you wish to write anything down. Knowing that this is a space and time that you do not necessarily have to analyze, right? Or work very hard with our mind, but it is a time to allow further experiencing of what may come within the body, within heart, as well as within mind. So if you have plants in your room, may you welcome them. I was able to water the plant behind me prior to ensure that they had a good drink as well. If you're coming in with stones or semblances of tree, wood, or more, may you take a moment to welcome them. And may you enjoy deep breaths. May you allow yourself to take additional sips of air through the process. And if at any time you so need to step out and then come back in, trust that this will be on replay. And that is for a reason. The beauty of replay is that you get to review, you get to re-listen. You get to reconnect to what you may have received or experienced, and then see what came or what shifted in the space between the first listen or experience and the second. So allow yourself to make some contact. However that may feel for you. It doesn't have to be exactly how I'm doing it with my body. To feel and give connection to your hands, your feet, your limbs, your neck. To see how you wish to support your body. Know that the seat that I'm on right now has multiple things underneath it so that I can feel extra comfy. You may wish to bundle up. Your hot, cold, the body temperature may shift as you receive message. So to honor if you need to layer up, as well as then at times that you may need to take layers off. And if presence is difficult, because presence is difficult, isn't it? To be here fully. You don't have sometimes lives that support that. To check in your capacity. And to honor that even if you listen a little, even if you listen to this while you're washing your dishes, while you're cleaning your floors, while you're making your bed. You can see how much you are capable of receiving. And then to honor that some of the things that may not sit well may be bringing some things up. So to see how you can support discomfort as well as comfort, be it with sound, be it with breath, or even with movement. You're welcome to soften your gaze or even close your eyes to begin. Whatever feels most comfortable for you. To allow yourself to listen in. To allow yourself to acclimate to the sound of my voice. For as my ancients share, one of my gifts, as well as one of yours, is our sound. And much can be carried within sound. Much can be activated and potentially even triggered within sound. And so to know that you do not need to be a good student, You are a most capable and sovereign being. And you do not need to sit and receive something that feels that it will blow you up, that it will shake you up to your core. For as much as I may channel and share of things that may feel and be all knowing, know that they move through immense consensual connection with me, Josie, human, body, yes. And so I always will do my best in sharing translations in tarot that will not maintain layers of consciousness and teachings of mind that we are presently and currently unschooling and unlearning. Specifically ones that share that we are supreme, that we as human are most supremacist. There are many ones that come before us, yeah? And some of the greater ones that we can all acknowledge and appreciate first and foremost are those of those elements of earth, air, water, and fire. So may you breathe with these four that consist within us, that move most wondrously around us in multiple things. And as you connect to their movement, may you first anchor into what is below, what is under your feet. And some of you may draw deep into soil. Accessing the many things that are within soil. And they ask you to step gently and to move most slowly if you choose to move beyond soil. Into the rock formations that are down, down, down beyond. Some of you may even choose to so traipse and traverse beyond rock and stone, But may I ask you to first receive the millions of living energies that are within those incredible formations. To allow them to funnel and fuel your bones and your own minerals. To allow your body to enliven as it may receive most ancient things. And some of you may step further and know that there is no right of how far you need to go. It is more so in finding a space that feels most sacred and most safe for you to be within your body. And wherever you may land, allow yourself to affirm the landing. To feel once again the steadiness of your feet, of your legs, or of your seat. To lean back into the support of earth and all that it carries. To open to receive the support of ancestors most beloved and supported. To access the movement of the animals that are most sacred and most ancient. And to see as you breathe in, how can you gently funnel all the love, the support that is below you, to allow it in. To allow it in. For it to gently travel up your own rivers and pathways and passageways. To access your center. That center point on your compass. To welcome this connection of heart. And all that can be accessed within those realms and gateways. From our center to Earth's center, to allow your breath to move up and down. And to gently see how far it may wish to reach, to expand your own branches, your own antlers, so to speak, to reach towards the helpers around you, as well as above you. And in that, I welcome the energies of the larger convergencies of planet, moon, sun, of the multiple layers of guardians and protectors, those of and in what we call star. May you use that connection when you so choose. To continue to affirm your connection to many that are carried within and around you. I welcome you. Okay. There is a first question on what is the difference between tarot and oracle cards. And it was funny because even I was feeling a bit, I guess, confused because I am oracle. I'm an oracle, which means a seer or someone who connects to those most ancient and divine and shares as, well, let's say it's taken a long, long time to move through some of the doubts and denials and my own works in my own shadows to further support that connection in a way that was most spacious and wondrous and delicious. And so what I can share first of any card deck that you may use to support you and your remembrance of whom you are and whom you walk with and what wisdom is within you that is being asked to be shared when you so choose and when you are so ready to share it with self, those in family or household, or potentially those in circle or further communities. is that you first must realize that these decks are, of course, created by people. Yeah. And the wonder of artists, of writers and painters and illustrators, is that as some of the star teachers have shared for many years and times, is that a lot of divine, prophetic channeling, a lot of things that have moved through in their own healing and growth come through artist creations. And so then instead of them having to share their whole life story or the ways that they supported themselves in moving through their own difficulty, they bring all of that emotion, discernation, and connection and move it through something that they have crafted. Be it a painting, an illustration, a book. Yeah. And so in oracle cards, there are ways to support further insight. There are ways to support you to see and to listen and to receive potential connection to many different beings. And maybe that's why I was guided to bring some oracle decks just to kind of show, right? Like this is a beautiful deck channeled and connected by Dana O'Driscoll, the Plant Spirit Oracle. I just love the illustrations and the sensations and the emotion and the beauty that has been shared in her deep connection and reverence to her plant allies and to what she received from her background in Druid, as well as to her background now, right? So be it from ancestral connection, as well as to what is being received now in her human form. And so know within oracle decks, there is connection to different things, right? So if you wish to connect further, to connect and realize the helpers that are plant, there are many plant decks, and they will carry the energies and the teachings of plants. Some may connect to, let's say, Denise Lynn, Sacred Traveler Oracle cards, another favorite of mine. And of course, these are depicting nature and movement and different lands, as well as people traveling, experiencing, journeying. So if you feel that you are on a journey, if you feel that you are roaming, be it within what you are discovering within yourself or further outside of self, then these may relate towards you. Another oracle deck creator that I just adore is Cheryl Lee Harnish. This is one of her first decks, Divine Guidance. And as you see, all the images are actually created in fractal art. And if you ever read her book, fractal art is created by just writing in numeric codes. So you actually don't see what it's being created until after it's generated. And so she had to step in with immense trust to her star teachers and team and council and simply write certain numeric codes. And then the process of the creation from that trust and from that surrender and connection allowed her to then discover these beautiful things, these beautiful images that carried so much activation and wisdom within them. This one's been quite fun for me. The Pure Magic Oracle by Andres Engracia, or Engracia, as well as working with Judica Iles. And the wonder that I love with this is that it links many things that can be found in element. So they are found and categorized in the connections to those great teachers of air, earth, water, and fire, as well as multiple practices and connections to their Wicca roots, which will bring a lot of sacred teachings of talismans, of amulets, of protection, and certain ways of connecting and remembering further, potentially yours. So Oracle is a plethora of fun, isn't it? And when I so choose to connect, let's say, to Angel, I'll work with a deck that I trust has innate connection to Angel. When I wish to work and connect to plant, I will work with a deck that connects to plant. So Oracle allows you to traverse and work with multiple different, let's say, like support teams. And the beauty of it being illustrated by usually one person and being written by another, not all of decks are. Some are actually illustrated and written by both the same person. Is that you're receiving channeling and connection from more than one, right? So it allows you to kind of step away from believing this one person is the expert. This one person has all the truth and carries it all. Yeah. It allows you to see that the deck in itself is a co-creation, is a collaboration. And so it can allow you then to step in and to realize, right, I am co-creating with. I am in collaboration with. Now, tarot is another interesting one, because tarot also, well, oh gosh, tarot's a big one, yeah? And I first share a bit in the sound of tarot, T-A-R-O. And that some of you may have already heard of this, because I may have shared it privately with you at other times. But how my ancestors share of that understanding is to think of it as a root, right? The taro root, that wondrous vegetable that so many love so much, that has a massive amount of nutrients, that has a massive amount of healing qualities for our bodies, right? That can support our bodies energetically, right? But the root itself, you cannot simply just pluck it out of the ground and eat it. It requires preparation. And it requires time, yeah? It requires space. Once you grab the root and you wash the root, and then you maybe peel some of the things off the root, and then you cut it, and then you realize that even then you still can't fully eat it. You have to boil it, because actually there's certain toxins if you eat raw taro. This thing that is so wondrous for your body. And so there's a level of preparation and deep connection to allow also the alchemy, the alchemization of what needs to occur in order for something that was first taken or drawn from the ground to finally the point of when you're able to actually ingest it and eat it, for it to sustain and support you and your health and well-being. And so tarot is like that. Tarot is something that not many people enjoy, right? Because at first, well, just look at all the different tarot decks. The ways that maybe they've made it more palatable, the ways that they have shared the major arcana or the minor arcana in ways that potentially can be gentler, can be more easeful in consumption. And so tarot is like a big sip of truth. It asks us for an immense, well, not just patience in preparing, but a deep humility in knowing that the thing that we have asked or that we have opened to receive from all the symbols within tarot may ask us to look deep into our own shadows, into the things that we may still be kind of softening for our own palatability. Hence why Oracle is a wondrous thing to work with, for there are ways to enhance connection. And tarot, well, there can be multiple translations in tarot. And so this is not going to be like a whole course on tarot. I'm in deep gratitude that my team has shared that this year I am capable. And meaning, that doesn't mean I am capable, meaning that I'm allowed to, because like finally, it's because I've had to move through all my own shit in order to be capable of sitting and sharing of greater or deeper teachings, most radical, most rooted, that can support, well, what does tarot support? Many people may feel it as a divination tool. So a tool to see the future, or to know what might be coming. And let me say, as someone who carries many visions, many prophetic type of sights or envisions of what is occurring or what may happen in future, okay? Trust that visioning can be very scary. For it sometimes moves beyond our mind or what our current capacity is, right? When you see something in future, you're like, how the hell am I going to get there? All those questions start to come up. How am I going to do that? I don't know if I can do that. That's asking me something too crazy. Right? There's a lot of freaking out when it comes to actually vision or envisioning what will come. There is also many questions that sometimes come to those that support guidance and tarot of like, when will I do this? When will this happen? Right? And it's like, my spirit team, and I've tried to for the past couple of years, share, well, when will you will it? Right? Timing is a little ish, isn't it? Dependent on what you will, what you choose to move through. And again, as Spirit shared at the beginning of this session, right? We don't have to be good students. Spirit is not sharing things so that we can still carry crosses and still feel like we are martyrs to freaking causes. They are not here to oppress us. They are here to support and love us. So then we realize then a lot of the work in tarot is actually sometimes lifting some of what we may have discerned or accepted as love or as our life. And unfortunately, while much, let's say, shifting in spiritual communities and kind of capitalizing upon things or selling or sharing sacred knowings to the highest bidder, so to speak, right, has really fucked with some things. And so tarot most definitely is asking us to step in with some level of humility, some acknowledgement that probably the biggest challenger, right, is not the sound that may be coming out or what may actually be showing up in the symbol of a card. Oh, look one which came. Guess we might be starting there. Whew, gosh. Okay. It is asking us to look at, right, our own protectors, our own sites, our own boundaries that we have supported, our own filters, the ways that potentially we have chosen to filter things that felt true, but that felt also icky. Those kind of truths that sting. Because we may know that they are true, but we don't yet want to admit them to ourselves. It's neat in preparing for this and in receiving that I am capable and able of teaching further a course of action in learning how to translate and remember in tarot. One of the words that they kept on sharing that I actually had to kind of look up, my love of etymology, right? The root. We're back to the root of words. And we know that radical love, radical life, living quite radically is something that is deeply rooted, right? That is stepping us back into our roots. And so they kept sharing that we must be ready for culpability, blamableness. And that doesn't mean to feel that everything that has happened to you is your fault, because that's totally fucking not true, yeah? We know that many things that have occurred to us in our bodies may have actually occurred from much larger supremacist systems, much larger systems that did not allow all beings to fucking exist. Sorry, I'm getting into my swearing at this point. You can tell I'm getting a little passionate. I thank you for bearing with me. Does that support your the question that you asked of what's the difference between tarot and oracle? I realized that was like the one question that we got right at the beginning of this, and it took me quite some time to answer it. And I hope that furthermore in this session, maybe some more answers may come. Why I enjoy working. Good, thank you. Okay. Why I enjoy working with the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck is because, well, I'll give you a little bit of a story, like 5 minutes or 2 minutes or, quick stuff, because a lot of this stuff is easily researchable, right? You can Google and research and find out about the illustrators and the author, right? And to understand the story of how it was created. Okay. Why my team and I enjoy it is it is also not on top of just being divination or divinatory tool, right? To predict things or to share what may become is that it also is an immense tool to support further remembrance. Okay. The major arcana carry much in the awareness of archetype or archetypos, and they will support those 22 different helpers of major arcana, support you in moving through 22 aspects of what we may consider as self. And in that, there are many, 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 many layers of symbolism. Many, many, many layers of deep, deep esoteric teachings that are carried in the simplicity of this card deck. It's quite incredible. So the illustrator Paula Coleman Smith, her mom was Jamaican, so Black Jamaican. Father was a white American. She was kindly or gently, her nickname was Pixie, right? Definitely illustrator, connection to much deep wisdom. In 1901, now this is kind of wild because where are we now? 2023, yeah? And this deck is still here. Isn't that cool? It's still the same. Many other tarot teachers may have changed it. Many tarot designers may have shifted them, okay? What I enjoy about this is that it allows you to move through definite workings with your own energies that are carried within that you may define as feminine, that you may also then define as masculine. It shares ways of connecting to your ancestral lines and the stories of your people. And in Renascent Remembrance, that beautiful word that they gifted me this year, of this ability to rebirth further remembrance of what we carry and why we are here now in the midst of this shit and chaos, is most definitely to support, to support further shifts and changes as we shift them within our own consciousness, but then potentially we can support them in larger spaces, be it the spaces that we live in, be it the spaces that we be in, right? Be it the spaces we choose to be in, and sometimes the spaces that we don't choose to be in, but have to be in. So in 1901, this awesome illustrator, right, who was traveling between like Jamaica and the UK and different places, right? She gets invited to, of course, all these different writers and artists would connect at that time. Most of the, let's say, I guess, leaders of these types of secret groups and mystical orders might have been more male. But she was invited into the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. And so in her time there, now the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, I know, kind of wild name, that might already be like bringing up some stuff, was an order that drew on multiple teachings, right? From Kabbalah to other mysticism, to things that would later become Wicca, okay? To the religions of ancient Egypt, to other types of esoteric magic practices, right? So all of these different things were being discussed and shared amongst these different writers, these poets, and these illustrators. And so in that time, in that order, that is where she met the author of the deck, who was a poet and writer, and also working with this mystical work. Yeah, kind of wild. So by 1909, when she was commissioned to actually illustrate this deck, it was quite wild because, well, many decks that were worked with tarot didn't always have visuals in the minor arcana. And so as you see within these decks, the minor arcana, they share people, they share sometimes stories, they share journey. And guess who created these? Right? She was very gently guided about them. And she was able then to share much of what she must have been connecting to through these cards. And of course, though, as sometimes it occurs in life, right? It was neat. Even me reading recently a translation of the Spandakarika, which is a yoga philosophy, a book on yoga, Kashmir Shaivism philosophy. And it says it's like written by this person, right? Or translated by this person. And then and the spirit was like, look further, look further. And then it took me like 6 pages to finally get to many thanks to this female that actually was listening to the oral transmissions shared by by this guru and transcribed them down. But it was written by this person, wasn't it? So interestingly, the illustrator didn't get much royalties and died penniless. Doesn't seem like much has shifted, huh? I hope we get to shift some things now, yeah? So what my team has shared to first look at within this deck, right? Well, what have we been told? And now some of you who may be listening, again, I may have shared some of this in private. Well, we have been told that it is a year of 7. 2023. And now we may know, though, yeah, that year in the Gregorian calendar, well, many have been beautifully discussing this, which is great to see, right? Is that Gregorian calendar itself added some months and shifted times, yeah? July and August, added some Roman kind of leaders and rulers to even how we look at months of a year. And so much of our concepts of time have been, let's say, romanticized, or in more stinging words, Romanized, yeah? And puricized. Is that a word? And it's quite neat because then when you start to see the amount of different types of celebrations of New Year, those that maybe have just celebrated the Lunar New Year, and that carries potentially different ways of understanding time, or those who may have gone into study with the wisdom of the Mayans and the Mayan calendar, which share a much different circular aspect and understanding of time within cycles of 13 days. And then there are different religions. Isn't that wild? You know, I remember in my upbringing, in my stepfather's household, of Judaism and Jewish teachings that I learned. And how, I don't even know, I'm going to have to Google it. What is like the Jewish year in 2023? Because I just remember that like the actual year, let's see, was like 5,783, 5,784, right? That really fucks up with people that really enjoy numerology, doesn't it? Right? To think that then an entire year, just because we have all followed 2023, right, equates then to 7, which is an incredibly sacred number. Incredibly sacred number. Let's just say that. Okay. We can see it in many things. There's a beautiful book I remember of Caroline Myss that wrote of, I think it was called Anatomy of the Spirit, right? That she wrote in her studies as a journalist. She started to compare, right, these different religions and finding how they all had these thematics that carried 7, right? So 7 is not something we can just typify and share of in, let's say, a short session. So then, though, we look at, and it's been like wild, and know that whenever I share things, there's almost a disclaimer here that they're asking me to share, okay? Is that whenever I share of things that come from my council, that come from my team, as well as are acclimated and consented, right? They are consented also by me sharing them, right? So there must be some agreeance in what they are sharing that I am also sharing through my voice, yeah? That is not to negate, okay, other people's perspectives. That is not to negate anything else out there that you feel is true. There can be more than one truth. I'd heard you. There can be more than one truth. And some speak of universal laws of truth, and what those most ancient share those that have been before these timings or these definings and divides, let's just say, that we currently experience and have been experiencing for multiple generations. Way before the patriarchy even. What they share of that is, think of it as simpler codes, simpler truths. There are truths that are so simple that most people won't listen to them. So we work then on defining more, or describing or translating more of that simple in order for us to further comprehend, understand, and digest it. Welcome, Farida. Welcome. So in working with those most ancient, it has not been just radically transformational in my own body. It has asked me to eat multiple pieces of humble pie, because I then had to filter through all the different lineages of my ancestors and bloodlines, right? I had to filter through those simple truths, and I had to see how each of them digested it, right? From whatever religions they followed, from how they might have been viewed or perceived themselves as the oppressor or the oppressed, the fucking, the empire, the this, or the freaking one that was completely beat, raped, and killed. And so simple is quite sensational and quite volatile. Hence why there is a beauty of our translation. There is a beauty of how we take something so simple and allow us further exploration, so to speak, and how we may then define that simple now, right? What feels true now, in present. But then the interesting thing with that is then we realize there might be multiple truths, yeah? Because how you may define it now in your body, in your semblance of what is moving through you to be healed and to be revealed and to be released, as well as to be brought in, to be expanded upon, may shift even tomorrow, may shift even after this session a bit. Do you see? And so there was a piece of deep difficulty when I started working with ancients, because they always would share, be ready and be open. Can you ask those to be open to truth and lies? Because we must be aware that truths shift as we shift. Dear Farida, in my collective sessions, I don't do personal readings. So personal readings can be done by accessing my services on my site. But I can address things in a more collective and public way so that they can support many. So I will see, as I continue with my channel and session, to see what I may be able to share to support you and what you are moving through now. Okay? You're most welcome. So we are then told by many that this year, or right, this time that we are in now, is still solely a time that has been defined by those that, well, capitalized and made empires and brought many people to their feet and destroyed multiple wondrous teachings and mystical esoteric connections. And so if we're looking simply at this year of being 2023, yes, we can add them up and see that there is a 7 in there. And then we can look at the tarot and we can look at the Romanized numerals, yeah? And we can see that there is a VII, 7 in there. And so then it must simply equate that then this must be a chariot year. But we have realized in this connection that tarot brings much channel and symbolic esoteric connection to many different teachings from many different religions, right? Many different things are studied in accessing and opening to the symbology or the symbolism that is carried within it. And so we understand then that there is magic, that we carry a lot of capacity for magic. We are the magician. We are one. And how wondrous that even the Roman numeral, right, that shares number 1 is a capital I. And so then we continue to filter that because I am magic, that I then must be here now? Or are we interested in supporting some of these systems in gently falling away? So that we can remember that the first helper is 0. That the first helper in tarot, as we connected to even in our first connection, to all that came before us, human. The water, the earth, the air, the flame, the plants, the animals. Gosh, there's so much that came before us. How humbling and how wondrous that all these things have supported our walks. How wondering and how beauteous, and no wonder the fool wishes to dance and sing. In gratitude, in deep reverence, and in deep connection to all that is here before I. So then if you are still working with 2023, and I know we have to, yeah? I still have to book things. I still have to pay bills, March, April, May, June, on certain dates and times of those years. We are still part of these systems. Even though we are trying to maybe, I don't know, they keep on saying the word subjugate, but I don't understand that word just now because I'm channeling. So maybe if you guys know it, if you all know it. So if we are still working, because all of us are still working in 2023, even if our religions or our cultures and traditions are also sharing that there is more than just this number this year. There has been many ways that people have followed and defined time. There are many traditions that also acknowledge that time is definitely not linear. But we still then follow Tarot sometimes in a line. Thinking once again that this must be about the Chariot only, solely. And yes, there are multiple teachings here. There's also multiple teachings in the seventh helper, even though it is numbered 6, right? Because the deck starts at 0. This is the first helper of the 22 helpers of the major arcana. And so technically, this would be the seventh helper. And so how wondrous that we don't just have one thing to work on only. That we can see how we move and how we connect to all that is moving and guiding us and supporting us in our walk, while also moving through still so much that comes with lovers, so much that comes in relations, so much that comes in loving relations, be it with someone that you are intimate with, someone that you may live with or choose to live with, someone that you may have had babies with, even someone that you just started dating, someone that you wish to call friend, someone that you wish, yes, there's multiple ways to share love, yeah? And then also, how wondrous that this also shares some wondrous harmony, this harmonics, this beautiful, larger kind of access, almost deity of support to what has been divided or what has been decided as masculine and feminine. And will we choose to traverse the space between, even though it might seem quite hard and difficult at times, right? Will we continue to other another? Or will we begin to reflect on those we so choose to share love with? Will we choose to still say that they're the wrong and we're in the right? Or will we also carry some culpability and understand we may be healing as well? For goodness, how much has been romanticized about love? And so questions, and it's neat because much that comes sometimes about love or in personal session with those that are traversing the workings of love and life with me or with others. No, I'm definitely not the only one. I'm one human, and there's so much time and space that I do carry. Many will come sharing the difficulty, right? The things that are not working with them. and spend most of the time just talking about all that. And then, of course, I must share, though, that did they consent to a reading? Did that other person consent to having their energy connected to by someone who can see in? Or did you consent? And so then, how do we shift the question? How do we shift what we may be looking at within that person that is giving us so much angst? What is the question, truly? What is bringing up discontent or doubt or uncertainty or irritation or anger or multiple red flags in you? So yes, this year there is a lot to traverse in love, in intimacy, in understanding how we still relate to each other, and how we choose at times potentially within our lives, right? Where are the places and spaces that you're able to have boundary and to truly share your feeling or what something is coming or what is being brought up in you? And are those spaces or places also the spaces or places that you are in some type of loving relation with another? Are they included in that? And this is not just about being a mirror. Many people share that, right? I am a mirror to your work, or I'm a mirror to what is being brought up is mirroring in my life. And what the moon shares to me of reflection and mirror is to always remember it's not exactly as it seems, right? We can see that even in a mirror itself. I can see that even when I bring this card up on this screen. You might see the words right way. I see the words backwards. Which then, of course, leads us to understanding the importance of honoring when cards are coming reversed. I'm going to have some water and give you a moment to share of anything that is coming up, any questions or queries that you feel are potentially more collective or capable. And I hope that I brought up some information about relations. I'm also going to give gratitude to some lavender and cedar. And I also share actually deep gratitude to the incredible artist Children of Venus, who is available on Instagram, Children of Venus, and her work with her elders and how she created this wondrous headpiece that I'm so grateful for, that has supported me in sharing live transmissions now. which I actually did see, I think about 2 years prior to it being created in vision. So it was really sweet when I came across it in real life. Vision can be delightful. Vision can be seen as seeing little bits of larger story or larger things. And those little bits, it's not about them going, oh, what am I missing? It's realizing that like the little bits that you receive are just enough for you to keep going. And then they're almost like these little breadcrumbs, right? A Hansel Gretel type of idea, like that fairy tale. It's like there's little bits that you'll see to affirm, to continuously affirm that you are walking, that you are being, that you are living. And most of those visions are there to bring forward joy or deeper affirmation, capacity for you to trust self, to trust that that thing will support you forwards on your journey. And support, though, and trust of what may, okay, they're almost another disclaimer is that like things, though, that may support you, okay? Because I've had multiple visions that were incredible, right? And incredibly joyous to receive with team, with counsel, potentially also with working with tarot. And then that doesn't mean, though, that that thing that supports you will be like pudding and rainbows and unicorns. Our ancestors, our team, our counsel is here to support us, yeah? To support us in moving through our shit, moving through our own shadows so that we can love fuller, that we can carry and more joy, that we can live and not just survive. We can live. And so in those visions, in the aspect of these cards that bring up divination, right? Or insights or sights of things that occur forwards. Those bits are there so that you can enjoy the affirmation, to trust that you are on the path that you have asked for, or that you have inquired about, or that you have intended or dreamed or desired. But, right? But, a big but, they're beautiful, and in beauty and in truth and in all of this wonder, there is going to be potentially more uprooting. So those things that I envisioned at times, yes, were most delightful then to see and affirm and actually experience in real life. And those pathways most definitely shared me to move forwards and further into more of accessing my fullest and wholest. Wholest, is that a word? Fullest and most whole experience of what I claim to be. But that did not mean that they were just easy. They led to most definitely some deep difficulties. They led to me having to move through some deep, deep reflections and awarenesses of how I was supporting potential patterns that, yes, may have been passed down to me. Yes, that may have been made me feel or so that I had to be a part of them in any way, shape, or form because they were just given to me, be it from systems or society or, whatever. That I then had to sit in what and how I could support shifting that in me first. And so, yes, things that, yes, sometimes come in divination, in vision, will bring most beautiful, joyous wonder, and also will bring most definite, maybe dark nights of the soul, or immense seasons or cycles of moving through moments that tear you and rip you apart. Hence why, as much as we learn of remembering within our own intuition and our own work with our own counsels, there is beauty in remembering together. There is beauty in asking for helpers, yeah, or mentors. There is beauty in working with more than self. But may we not have to continue to affirm that working with more than you is affirming that you are less than them. Can we maybe move forwards? Can we move forwards to admit that we all carry immense gifts, that we all carry profound wisdoms in your unique mix that are meant to be shared by you and you alone, while also humbly walking together in learning, listening, receiving, and maybe sharing, communicating what is true to us, even if it may disrupt, even if it may sting or hurt? Or will we continue to romanticize and Romanize things, to make things send, I can't even finish that. Because what we speak out loud, is important. What we speak and sound out can support further creation. So when there are doubts about another, what is stopping you from asking them? And if they are incapable of communicating with you and honoring your being, your existence, your sovereignty, your agency, then why are you still choosing to support that? I know fear is a really difficult thing to battle. Love is most definitely stronger than fear. But the difficulty too with love is that we haven't been taught much about love outside of romanticized notions. And so is love solely pleasing? Is it still part of a 2-hour movie that still shares all is happy and pleasing? And that the difficulty was in communicating, I love you? Or are we acknowledging that those that we open to love with require still multiple communications on what it means and what your needs and desires are in order to allow yourself to exist, to allow yourself to be, Are your relations allowing your being? Whew. Oh, okay. I'm getting close to closing because, as you see, you may have been able to get up and go and come back, right? And the beauty of those, if you're watching on replay, is you get to pause. But of course, I am sitting live, which means I don't have washroom breaks. I don't have time to move around. I am sitting in front of a camera. So I thank you in honoring as well that live oracle experiences tend to be a little bit shorter than my personal sessions. Many of you who have worked with me in the past know that I'm quite generous in honoring of time and space and honoring of time-ish, right? Hence why I don't share much about actually how long sessions are until you inquire and share what your current or your capacity is when you are receiving guidance or consultation for further work. But the one other card that is sharing itself of the major arcana is that of the Hierophant. What comes up when you see this card? I'm curious. You're welcome to share any words or sensations, any symbols that may come across. And some of these might trigger, right? There are some symbols that might bring up ick as well as yay. It is romanized as 5. It is also the 6th helper of the deck. And a Hierophant is that carries and shares sacred wisdom. Isn't that neat? We kind of started with that, about how this journey of the past couple years since my last live oracle was immense learning of how to carry and work with things that are most sacred and may come across most simple, but that can be quite volatile if shared either too soon or too openly. And so I give gratitude. I give gratitude to the protectors. I give gratitude for all that I have carried safely to this date, all that I have been able to carry safely within me, without disrupting too much. We all carry sacred. Sacred is not secret, even though it has had to be quite secret for many times because of sometimes, well, religions, cultures, traditions, not liking that sacred, for it disrupted their own truths that they shared, yeah? We all carry keys. We all carry keys to access things. So are you ready to open to your sacred, to discover what you carry within? Are you ready or open to decapitalize these wondrous traditions and teachings of Tarot? Are you ready to explore more of the mini symbols that are quite ancient and esoteric and magic that are within these illustrations drawn by that wondrous Paula Coleman Smith. If so, I am grateful to share that my team supports me in sharing one course this year that will be most slow. So this is not a quick thing to then capitalize and move forwards with yourself. It is something to support our remembering and rebirthing remembrance together, for it is gentler and more easeful together. We get to question things together. We get to potentially speak more and sound more of what we wish to share within Circle. So count this as also my first invitation to translations in tarot. Of course, that I will commence March. And more information will come this week that I will share about that for those that so inquire. I thought you'd be excited about that. So there's a way for, and that is one thing, they're like, get Josie out of business. Like, make sure that this is a way for you to realize you can learn. You can learn and remember more of you through this wondrous system. This wondrous system. Not the fucked up systems that we keep seeing playing out. Keep affirming supremacist consciousness. Keep affirming that we are number one. And so, yes, they are asked to be tread gently. And they will be asked, this is self-work, this is homework, and this is group work. But at least we get to do it together, yeah? Because sometimes when I do remembrance journeys with people privately, it takes a really long time. There's something wondrous in committing to learning and opening forwards in community, in circle. For it gives us something to commit to. It allows our self-investment to support more. For self-work is our communal work, isn't it? It can help and support us in moving beyond some of the things that we have been taught about love, about life, about maybe where our placement may be in the world. And how, yes, we can too. Even the weird ones and the spirited ones. Even the ones that may have felt that they were most ostracized or most marginalized. And even those that may feel they carry most privileges, multiple privileges. Isn't it wondrous for us then to sit humbly together? Okay. Since Tara is a lot of chew, 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 isn't it? Isn't there a lot of chew, chew? And I didn't even share tons. As you see, it's deep, deep, deep. So to close, I am going to connect to an oracle deck. Yeah. And okay, some magic ones are popping. Actually, probably also it's been a really snowy day here, and been quite snowbound and homebound, which has been lovely. And the only animals other than my dog, so grateful for you, Paco. Isn't he nice when I'm working on mini realms? You can tell he's super quiet. And then all of a sudden, if you hear a bark, you know it's just because he's telling someone else to shut up so we can be in. But the one other animal I got to see today was crow. There's two crows like perched up on this really snowy tree in the midst of it all. And so, yeah, I guess they were calling. Woo! And jumping. Okay. Okay. Woo! I guess also the theme of this is a bit about visions and how you can see forwards and further into past, into future, as well as into what you are carrying most presently, right? Insight. And how wild for it to be belladonna visions. What do we know about belladonna? Again, it's like this thing, just like the root that I was speaking of tarot before, right? It's something that can be supportive in a small amount, or can be like actually lethal in a large amount. Isn't that wild? Exactly. It's poisonous, right? You can, and there's certain poisonous, toxic types of plants that in very small doses can actually support you. But that is very dependent, right? People would have to know a lot about that plant in order to give you the correct dose. Or most of the time, it would be quite poisonous. It would be quite toxic to your system. Whew, wow. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you for this beauteous message. Wow. So it shares caution, guidance, clarity, stand firm. There is always caution. There will always be triggers. There will always be sometimes a pill that might be too hard to swallow when it comes to moving through Oracle and Tarot, which is why how grateful it is to gift consent at times to others to, how do we call it? Read you. Know that in any type of work with that, you are, or any type of reading or visioning or guidance connection, there are multiple layers and levels of consent required. Okay? That's my cautioning about that. If you are continuously going out and going, read me, talk to me, speak to me, share with me everything, I'm open, then learn of beauteous boundaries of no. Because sometimes what may be shared might be too much for your body to actually take in now. Hence why there is a beauty of pace. Hence why there is a beauty in time. In honoring the spaces between times of ingesting, connection. And they're sharing that it's kind of meant to ripple for a bit, that statement. Because it might have multiple meanings. There is clarity. That is light, yeah? That is what we see. It is the unclear that brings up much more. to be discovered. And so do we have to then still move through the things that feel uncertain or unclear, like we're moving through a haunted house for cheap thrills or freakouts? Or can we gift ourselves this year, this month, I don't know, whatever cycles and rhythms you may desire to affirm this within? That is unclear. Yeah, that would be it. That is unclear. May we move through it with a little less fear? Could we allow ourselves some curiosity in seeing what's under the bed? Or maybe even what's under the rug? Can we laugh potentially at some of the lies that we may have been sharing with ourselves? Can we be gentler in our own knowing and acceptance of what we are? And in this awareness of standing firm, I mentioned at the beginning of this session that we are most sovereign, that you carry multiple gifts. You do, and 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 you do, you know? So can we stand firm in that knowing that we can still be learning, that we can still be apprenticing, that we can still be listening and opening to listening, while we can still be strong in our own needs and our own desires, and to potentially share more of those needs so that we can be, that we can stand, that we can be firmly rooted, anchored with connection to what is below us, as well as what we reach and what we access around and above. So I welcome you, if you are still so with me, to bring your hands to your center, to place your hands on your heart and even just below your heart. Because our heart's kind of large. Our center is much larger than we think. And just allow yourself some rub and connection. And maybe that will move downwards or upwards. May you allow some deep breaths out. And may you enjoy what you receive and what you have received from this connection that may have been in review as something you have heard before. Yeah? May you have enjoyed the re-listening. And maybe the shift or the opening to more information that may come. May you gently pace yourself this evening, this day, the time that you share with you after this connection. And I give deep gratitude for you supporting me in sharing what I was guided to share today. I thank you for listening. I thank you for opening to sit. I love you so much. And I give deep gratitude And closing blessing. To the magnificence of beings from the biggest or most greatest in size to the most smallest and tiny, tiny, tiny microcosmic. I give gratitude for living and existing alongside them. And I give deep, deep, deep and immense love to the support of those that are surrounding and in around us and within our blood and bones, within the air that we breathe, the soil below our feet, within the flames and the movement of our waters. I thank you, I thank you, I thank you. As always, I thank you, I thank you. Such deep gratitude. For allowing us further remembrance to support deep shifts of things that are here now, so that we can walk forwards with more grace and embody more joy, more life. And may we love. I thank you. If you are ever so guided to share my work, I give gratitude. It helps lots. Take care. Connect soon. Bye-bye.